All right, hello guys, how are you? I just want to do a video to try and explain the technology, the woodwork assessment I'm giving you for the summer. Well, assignment really, more than assessment. And you will notice as soon as you click the PDF on Google Classroom that it is quite similar to what we did a few weeks back with the design task. So just to go through it, and I suppose what I'm trying to do with this video is I'm trying to give you the instructions that I would give you if I was inside the classroom. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to read through the PDF and just give you a few tips and things, and hopefully you won't have too many questions. But if you do, of course, you can send them to me on Google Classroom. So first of all, anyway, I have uploaded 2 pages. Okay, one which contains the design brief, one which contains the instructions on what you are to submit. So there's my 2 pages. If I go look at the start of it, so the design brief, and it's a different one, it's a funny one, it's an unusual one. It says that most bedrooms lack adequate storage and organization that incorporates the functionality of several items of furniture into one. I'm asking you to design and make a model or a prototype. So obviously we're not making a wood project here, but you're going to design and make a model or a prototype of a piece of multi-purpose, so more than one purpose, more than one job, multi-purpose bedside furniture. The artifact needs to be elegant, aesthetically pleasing. I'm not going to tell you what that means. I want you to look it up. And it must appeal to teenagers. The artifact should combine at least 2 of the following functions. So I've listed out a few functions here, and you must have at least 2 of these. So it could be bedside personal storage. It could be to hold a rubbish bin beside your bed. It could be to include, you can incorporate or include a reading light or bedroom lighting within the unit. It could be for laundry storage. You could turn it into an area for seating, or it could be a seat beside the bed. That could be one of its uses. You could have it for book or magazine storage. You could have it to store, and I store here is kind of coming up over and over again, but if you think back to the brief, it was adequate storage and organization. Anyway, you could have it to store your chargers, or maybe you have speakers, or maybe you have somewhere you need to keep your phone, or you have a tablet or an iPad or something, or a music player, and you can have it displayed, or you can have it as storage. And by the way, that's not an exhausted list of all the things that you could have in this item. So essentially, in ordinary Joe Soap language, it's to be a unit, an item, a piece of furniture that sits beside the bed, so bedside furniture, that does 2 or more of these jobs, or 2 of these jobs and more that you'd like it to do that I haven't thought about there. Okay, and I'm asking you to design and make. So by design and make, you're actually going to produce an analysis, which we did already, and then you're going to produce a sketch of your idea, and then the third thing is a model. Now the model is the only thing here that you haven't done before, and I'll explain a bit more about that now in a second. So that's page 1. Page 2 then is, I hope, a relatively clear list of what it is that I would like you to do. So what do I want you to do? Well, first of all, you produce 2 sheets. So the first sheet is the analysis of the brief. The second sheet is development of design ideas. They're the exact 2 sheets we did for the desk tidy, or at least the exact same type as we did for the desk tidy, 2 weeks ago now, I suppose. And at the time, you produced the 2 sheets based on the design brief. The design brief at the time was design a desk tidy. This time, it's a bedside storage and organization unit. Then I want you to make, so this is the new bit, then make a model or a prototype of your idea. Now, what I mean here is that rather than just sketch it, okay, we go one step further. And before you do your third year project anyway, you will make a model of whatever your idea is, because a model or prototype is something that tells you a hell of a lot about your idea. It tells you what it looks like, what the proportions are like, whether it'll even work, and it kind of brings problems to the head as well, things that you might have thought about when you were sketching. So I've written then that this can be done using cardboard, it can be done using paper, you can use ice pop sticks, or I don't know, straws, Play-Doh, or even Lego, whatever you have to hand. So something that makes a reasonable, a good effort, a good idea, something that you can make or put together to make your idea, to make it better than just your sketch. Now, it's this green box then that is the really, I suppose, this is what do you actually have to give to me? So you must send me 3 pictures, okay? 1, a picture of your analysis sheet. then a picture of your sketch and design sheet, so all your sketches with your labels and stuff on it, and we know all about them since what we did 2 weeks ago. And remember, there's still videos online that I made showing you how to do an analysis and how to do a sketch. And then also a picture of your model. Now, or you can send me a short video of your model as well, whichever you want. Now, if you are going to send a video, that's great, but just don't make it too long because you don't want to spend ages uploading it. We know already at this stage how hard it is to upload these things. So 3 pictures or 3 items: picture of your analysis, picture of your design sheet, picture of your model. Now, I'm giving you 10 days to do this, okay? So, and that's more than enough. But I'm also conscious that you have other things to do this week and next week, okay? So, yeah, more than you need to my mind, or at least longer than you need, but it's to allow you to fit it in around not only what other stuff you've on in school this week or you've on from school this week, but also maybe you're doing work at home, or maybe your parents are working from home and you mightn't have access to the computer a lot, or whatever the story may be. So 10 days. So the entry is Thursday, 28th of May, okay? Or the closing date. So that'll be on the assignment anyway on Google Classroom. Now, I won't be giving you any more work for this time, okay? And this is part of your summer assessment. Now, at the bottom of the page, whether you print it or whether you just look at it online, and to be honest, you don't really need to print this page, but I've added in 4 videos that, and you just click on them in the PDF, but 4 videos that will help you. One explains, how to make a cardboard prototype. Now, that particular video is excellent in the sense that it shows you exactly how you'd make, a prototype. So there's this last one as well, make table and chair by only using. But they're super detailed models that not quite used for architecture, but they're a bit beyond what I expect you to come up with. If you did that would be great, but it doesn't have to be as detailed as what you see on the videos. But some of the stuff in the videos will help you and get you an idea as to how to make it. There's another one then that talks about the benefits. Why would you bother making a prototype like that? And that is really relevant to 3rd year when it comes to designing our own project. And then there's this little one here, mobile application design, paper protect prototype video. Now, I just put that in. It's not really what we're doing, but I thought it was fascinating because it shows you somebody that made a paper model of what an app would like before they ever programmed the app. They show you a 3D kind of phone, a 3D cardboard phone, and they're showing you how you'd scroll through the app before they've ever made the app. And I think that alone is just interesting to watch. So there's 4 videos for you to watch, and maybe the first place to start before you ever get into this is to look at those videos. But then remember, I also have videos made for you. Now, this though is, I suppose, the most important bit, because when I made up this brief or this assignment, I sat down and I did I'd call it a bit of an analysis. I didn't do a full analysis because I wanted you to do some as part of your project, but I did a certain amount. And the minute you see this sheet, you'll see it looks familiar because I've always done my work like this, and I've always analysed any job that needs to be done with sketches, with doodles, with notes, because that's what helps me think. So I was kind of writing out, well, I kind of start from the point of view, well, what am I giving them? And then what do I hope to achieve? What do I hope them to do? What do they have to think about? So this is what I would have had on the blackboard or on the overhead if we were in school before doing this project. And I would have gone through this with you. So you would have started at a better place possibly than you're about to start now. But look, I'm going to do it now. Okay. So when I did the sheet, and I purposely didn't do it on camera because this took me a good hour and a half nearly to come up with all the information on it. And I took my time about it, and I did a lot of thinking while I was writing. This will be on Google Classroom for you, so you can either print it out or you can just view it on the screen. You don't need to do this sheet again, okay? This is my breakdown, okay? Yes, you do have to do an analysis sheet, and some of what's in here will help you to do that, but it's not all in here for you, okay? So it's not done for you. So anyway, it was the design and make assignments. I was saying, okay, who am I giving it? May 2020. And actually from here, I went over to this section. So I started actually over here. So don't worry about that for a minute. So I said to myself, well, what's the brief? Because before I could do anything even on this, I'd figure out, well, what am I going to ask you to do? I'd come up with a brief. And I'd seen one online about bedside furniture and thought that was interesting. So I came up with the brief. There it is again, the one that's typed out on your sheet. Design and make a model or prototype of a piece of multi-purpose bedside furniture. Product needs to be elegant, pleasing to the eye, appeal to the wide market. Product should be combined 2 functions. And then I have a list of functions there, which may or may not be the exact same as what I ended up putting on the type sheet. I can't even remember at this stage. But anyways, that was my starting point, my kickoff point. And then I said to myself, well, why would anybody want this? And this is more to do with you, okay? Well, the situation is that most bedrooms lack adequate storage and organisation that incorporates the functionality of several items of furniture into one. Okay, so if you think of your bedroom, a lot of you will have a locker beside your bed, and that is literally all it does. It's a press for holding books and your glass of water at night time. You might have a wardrobe over to the side, but it'll be separate to the locker. You might have seating up at some other area, and again, it's separate to all of that. And they all do one job. I want you to think about making something that does 2 jobs, something that is far more useful. Okay, so that was my situation. It gave me my brief, and then I said, right, if I picked out just the basic information in the brief that is important, I come up with this. It is to be basically a bedside table. Now, I use the word table there, and since then I've kind of went, a bedside artifact is really what should be there, but with multifunctional aspects. What is multifunctional? It does a lot of different functions. It does a lot of things. So it does 2 things, which would be a product which could be successful. So in other words, the design for this is something that could be very useful. So then I started going through over here, up here at the top left-hand corner. Hang on, let's see now. I can't see the camera. Yeah. I started up here and I said, right, what do I need to think about? Well, I said, look, the lack of space can affect and determine the look and practicality of your bedroom. So depending on whether you have a big or a small bedroom, that can cause you problems or issues. And I said to myself, well, what's the idea? So what do I have to think about? What are the thoughts? And I said, well, I suppose before I ever design something, I have to decide, am I going to go with a contemporary piece of furniture, something modern, or a conventional kind of typical type furniture, kind of your standard woodwork furniture that you think of when you think of a wardrobe, you think of a wardrobe. And then I said, well, what would I need this piece of furniture to do? Now, to be honest, these questions are the questions you have to ask yourself and put the answers into your analysis. That's what your analysis is. So what do I need it to do? If it's going to be modern looking, well, what does that actually mean? So I'd have to go online and look up modern bedroom furniture and see what it looks like. And then what's my target market? Now, with this one, your target market is your teenagers. It's you. Okay, so you're best placed to answer this problem. So I did start my analysis, and it's over here. Now, it's not finished, but analysis is essentially a list of issues or questions that need to be taken into consideration, things you need to think about before you start sketching. So I said first, and I'm repeating myself a little bit here, and so will you, but then you will come up with other ideas. I said, okay, it's to be some class of a bedside table or artifact. Actually, I'll put in there artifact, because it could be either. I said maybe it could be a source of light, but a source of light could be broken up into, these days, most kids in their bedroom want this LED strip lighting. Some people might want a traditional lamp or variations on the 2. I said, what other functions could it do? Now, you'll notice I've answered none of these questions because that's your job. But I was thinking, okay, I need to know what my functions are. Now, before I do absolutely anything, I'll need to check or measure what furniture is already there and what sizes is this going to be, what space would I have for holding it. And then I said, for who could this be for? Well, I said it could be for children, it could be for elderly, and they'd be 2 different types of furniture. Children would be smaller, elderly furniture might need more functions than the norm. Is it for male bedroom, female bedroom, or teenagers? And actually, I when I wrote up your brief, I was specific in that, whereas when I was writing this list, I hadn't quite decided yet that it was teenagers it was going to be for. And the reason I decided it was for teenagers, I think you've more interest in making or designing something for yourself. Then I said to myself, well, ergonomics. Now, there's a fancy word, and I want you to look that up because it's a keyword. And I want you to go into Google Dictionary, if you don't have a dictionary yourself, and find out what ergonomics means. But basically for us at the moment, and this is not what it means, but this is what it means we need to do. You need to measure existing furniture. I wrote that up there already. But it's to get an idea of sizes, okay, in terms of the human body, okay? And then I said to myself, well, what materials could be used? Okay, actually I'd gone off the camera there for a minute. You'll bear with me. You can see it anyway. I said about materials could be used. And in this case, the word is your oyster because we're not going to make this. You're making a model of this. So you can suggest any materials. And then I said, well, what's the environment is to be used in? And once I get to the end of that, and I'm not quite at the end of the analysis, as I've said, you need to do more. My big next question is, well, what do I do next? And we'd be into research at that stage. So research is our next important job. It's the thing that I would be going to next. In other words, looking for ideas online, trying to think. And the other thing too, I'm giving you 10 days for doing this. Do not sit down Monday morning, do your analysis, sketch a design, the first design you see online, and start putting together a model for me. Okay, that won't necessarily make you the winner. It won't necessarily make you the best, because you do need to sleep on this for a day or two in order to get a few ideas and be thinking about it. Even while you're watching telly, be looking in the background of the telly and see, well, what kind of things do the kids have in bedrooms on the telly? Or on the TV, I suppose, instead of the telly. But anyway, so there's my analysis, right? Let me zoom out. So this page will be on Google Classroom. I'll post a photograph of it, which will help you get started. But after that, you are on your own when it comes to doing this. So I'm looking for 3 things: analysis, a nice sheet, nicely laid out, nice and clear, so that I can read it and analyze it. You can do it in your copy if you want, but it's probably easier to do it on a sheet and do it on a blank sheet. After analysis, I need your sketches and your design ideas, and then you make your model. Now I'm going to say very little about making a model. Other than that, about 2 weeks ago, if you remember, I asked you to start keeping cornflake boxes and the like. Okay, so it can be made of anything, and you've just produced something that looks like your idea that's in your head. All right, so any questions anyway, send it or post it on Google Classroom, and I will talk to you from there. But yeah, so this will be posted Monday morning, and you have until Thursday the 28th. And look, best of luck, you're all well able to do this. I'm interested actually to see what you're going to submit, to be honest. All right, bye-bye.